That's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Okay, so I platinumed Jedi Survivor a couple of videos ago, and honestly, it was easy. It was fun. I parried some falls, solved a few ancient Jedi Sudoku puzzles, and walked away feeling like the galaxy's most emotionally damaged hero. Then my brain went, yeah, but what if he suffered? What if I stripped out one of the core mechanics, the Force, and tried to beat the entire game without it? That wasn't enough, so I cranked the difficulty to Grandmaster, the highest setting, and suddenly, this casual run became one of the hardest challenges I've ever attempted in any game, ever.
I'm in danger!
Which raises the question, can you beat Jedi Survivor without Force powers? And if you can, is it even worth it? Now early game, I was cooking. Absolutely Gordon Ramsaying these low tier stormtroopers. They thought they were in a Star Wars? Nobody. This was a star beating.
I want to eat his children.
Parrying like a god, looking like an anime protagonist with plot armor. It was smooth, too smooth. Like first date and she says she likes a lightsaber smooth. It was honestly kind of suspicious. Like, why is this going so well? Where's the catch? Is the game broken? Am I cracked? Then the ninth sister rolls up. You know, the one from the previous game. Built like a tank, moves like a fridge. Confidence of a middle manager on espresso. I was expecting pain. Instead, she just kind of died. She tried to do some mind control thing, which was really more annoying than useful, and acts like she's the boss of the intro. But I treated her like a training dummy at Jedi Kmart. She got parried into the Shadow Realm, first try. Just me, a lightsaber, and more arrogance than common sense. With Coruscant falling apart behind us, we bailed. Full retreat, time to regroup, maybe trauma bond a little. So we set course for Kobo to track down our guy Grease, assuming he hasn't turned into a space hermit with a gambling addiction. And that's when Zeke shows up, looking like a mid-season villain on a budget. Bad posture, worse dialogue. Just out here bullying some turtle-looking freak who probably sells weird side quests and smokes moss for fun. Now the game tries to sell him like he's a mini boss. Cutscene, dramatic music, lightsaber duel vibes, but by the end of it, bro felt like an intern in a costume. A test run for real fights. Don't get me wrong, he swings hard and he talks all dramatic, but once you realize he's just a reskinned raider with a few extra health points and a personal grudge, it's game over. Man got folded so hard, he became part of the map geometry.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
Hey, hey!
Now at this point, I thought I was built different. Cal Kestis, force-free menace. No powers, no fear, no idea what was coming. I'm telling you, the Empire, Raiders, they're NPCs. Just background noise while I'm out here writing the story myself. But then, roller mines. Now see, when you can't force push them like a deadbeat ex, they push you. And by push, I mean explode directly in your face while you're trying to play Jedi parkour. Tried dodging, tried baiting them into walls, even tried friendship. None of it worked. They have one goal, and it's to ruin your day.
2 very boring minutes later.
As we continue with the story, we find a bro trapped in a bacta tank. This dude turns out to be a Jedi from the High Republic. His Chad's name is Dagan Gera. Hair too pretty, confidence too high. I expected him to be a proper boss, maybe humble me. Instead, I parried him so hard he glitched mid-sentence. But I'll give him credit, this was a real fight. He moved fast and loved throwing his lightsaber like he was practicing for a Beyblade tournament. But every swing parried, every jump punished. But before I could put him back in the Cairo coffin, Ravis shows up like an overprotective soccer mum, and they run off together to some romantic getaway.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
It was also around this point that we made it to the moon and ran into a dude doing his best Kylo Ren cosplay. In defeating him, I unlocked the crossguard stance. I hadn't touched it during my platinum run because I was scared of commitment and it looked like too much lightsaber to handle. But in this run, on Grandmaster, it became my whole personality. Big swings, big damage, real big dick energy.
Nice car.
So now I'm juiced and backtracking between Kobo and Jeddah like a Jedi with a side hustle. Cal's out here delivering lightsaber pain and solving ancient puzzles, multitasking, living his best force-restricted life. Then, I met my first DT security droid. And listen, I know they're not technically bosses, but emotionally, that fight took years off my life. They swing fast, they don't flinch, they block everything, and are built like failed military experiments powered by Rage and WD-40. And sure, it was just one now, but I could feel it. The game was warming me up. It wasn't the last, it was the tutorial. Like, the just checking your awake stage before the nightmare.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
But in my head, I was still untouchable. I thought I was him. Problem is, every high starts with a delusion, and my delusion was that this would stay manageable. I was wrong. I was oh so horrifically wrong. We go to this place called Lubachek, I don't know. The name sounds like an alien oil change, but I digress.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
And this is where the game subtly goes, you had fun, now suffer. We start running into more Bedlam Raiders, some real Clone Wars era droids. Like, the Trade Federation finally figured out how to turn back on. B2s, B1s, super battle memes. Still manageable, but a little tougher and they slap a little harder now. But nothing I couldn't fix with dodges and a deep-seated need to prove myself to strangers on the internet.
That's what I'm saying.
But then, as I'm casually trying to rescue Z, who by the way is built like a toaster and has a personality of one too, Dagan Gera appears, looking like he's about to drop the hottest diss track of 2025. Bro's looking for round 2, and who are we to argue with Grandpa? But this fight was different. First time, he was confused, sleepy, just woke up from his space nap. But this time, man was wide awake, using his double saber like it owed him money. I died. A lot. Like, enough for the game to recommend lowering the difficulty. Like, calm down bro, I'm already not using the force. What do you want from me? Blood? But I did it. Eventually, barely, scraped by on adrenaline and trauma. And just when I thought it was safe to feel proud, the game laughed, because the real boss is waiting on the moon. So I pulled up to this dark industrial hellhole, expecting maybe some mid-tier fights, maybe a mini-boss. Instead, Ravis.
You thought it was over.
And let me tell you, Ravis is a liar. He looks big and slow, like he's gonna be a standard tank boss. Some blocking, some dodging, maybe a little stomping. But no, man moves like a damn gymnast in medieval plate armor. He's got combos, life regen, and trauma built into his DNA. And don't even get me started on his freaking rockets. I walked into this fight confident and walked out emotionally bankrupt. See, he wasn't that difficult on the lower difficulties, but on Grandmaster, he bodied me so fast I started questioning my career choices. Every death was a new type of heartbreak. Some spiritual, some philosophical, some physical.
Emotional, damn it!
This wasn't a fight, this was a soul cleanse. This was Jedi Survivor's version of therapy. Ravis was a therapist. In every attack, a session. I tried different stances, different tactics, meditation, internal screaming, nothing worked. 3 hours. 3 hours. I could have watched The Phantom Menace with George Lucas commentary, and that would have been more enjoyable than this fucking fight. Instead, I just died over and over. I started hearing voices. The lightsaber started to feel heavier. The controller, moist. Hope, gone. Faith, shattered. I was ready to give up. Even went on eBay and bought my next game that I planned to platinum. And as I waited for the delivery to come, and just when I was ready to uninstall the game and take up knitting, I beat him. I don't know how, I don't remember it. It's all a blur of screaming, dodging, and one perfect parry that was probably divine intervention. And when he finally fell, I felt peace. Actual peace. I just stood there, lightsaber shaking, heartbeat like a dubstep track. It was, without exaggeration, one of the happiest moments of my life. This was the moment the challenge actually became real. Not Dagan, not the Raiders, Ravis was the line, the heartbreak boss. And from this point on, nothing would be the same. With Ravis out of the picture, we head back to Kobo, thinking the worst is behind us. I felt immortal, like I had just completed the most difficult part of the game, and that we had this in the bag.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
On paper, we're heading to a floating laboratory. Sounds cool, futuristic, peaceful. And to be fair, the journey up there is kinda cruisy. A few Raiders here, a droid there, nothing worth stressing about. I'm chilling, I'm vibing, I'm walking through this place like a force-free nature hike. But no, that would have made sense. Instead the game says, surprise, you thought we were done? Now go suffer in an Imperial base. And can I just say, for an empire that supposedly has no foothold on Kobo, they sure slapped together a full military base overnight. Meanwhile, in my country, it takes 6 years to fill a pothole. And this base? Pain. Absolute pain. You get a gauntlet, a beautiful, awful gauntlet of increasing enemy waves. At first it's just your standard troopers, bros with flamethrowers, some jetpack guys, nothing crazy. Bit annoying, but I'm coping. Then the final wave hits. 2 DT security droids with rocket launchers.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
These lads roll in like the Empire sponsored an MMA event. They fire rockets, they charge, they double team. Meanwhile, I'm getting shot in the back by some random stormtrooper who's still mad I blocked his blaster shot an hour ago. Tried everything. Timing attacks, separating them, just running like a divorced Jedi with nothing left to lose. Nothing worked. Every time I'd engage one would distract me while the other lobbed an airstrike at my forehead. But then I discovered something glorious. The TIE fighters. I started kiting them, luring one around the corner, slicing off a limb, and running back into cover like a cowardly genius. One by one, I chipped away. It was slow, it was ugly, but it was working. Eventually, I had one left, and in that final moment, I charged, sliced, finished it. Was it pretty? No. Did I win? Yes, and sometimes that's all that matters. So after barely escaping the Imperial base with all my limbs and one functioning brain cell, the game politely asked me to continue, as if I'm emotionally available after that. We head to the floating laboratory, which sounds like it should be a peaceful place for research. You know, some beakers, some data pads, maybe an Ogdo Bogdo in a tube. Instead, more Raider nonsense. And apparently, they've unionized and now I'm the only thing on their agenda. There's this little mini gauntlet of Bedlam Raiders just to warm up. Nothing we haven't seen before. A few Magna Guards, a couple of B2 droids, you know, the usual collection of people who got rejected from Mandalorian auditions. Took them out with a few deaths, but really, no problem. But then, we reach the top of the laboratory and find him. Dagan Gera, looking all sad and emo, still messed up about his ex cutting his arm off. Bro's been stewing in his own villain arc for hours now, and you can tell. He walks around like he just got promoted to final boss. The first half of the fight, not too bad. He's using his double-bladed saber, standard dodges, normal parry windows. I'm doing my thing. Blocking, punishing, feeling good. Like maybe this challenge isn't breaking me after all. And then, phase 2. This absolute psychopath decides one Dagan isn't enough. So he makes shadow clones, and they're all angry and sexually frustrated. The clones hit hard, but die fast. Unfortunately though, they distract me long enough for the real Dagan to throw these giant anime energy bubbles directly at my fragile little Jedi skull. And remember, I can't use the Force.
Nope.
So while he's out here pulling Dragon Ball Z moves and yeeting gravity orbs across the room, I'm standing there like some medieval peasant trying to block magic with a stick. But eventually, after swapping to the dual world stance, I was able to consistently beat the clones and lock in. Started punishing him between the bubble, baiting him in, and moving around like a feral squirrel on cocaine. And with one final flurry, I ended him for good. And in that moment, I thought we were done. I thought that was the finishing line. I felt like the challenge had finally peaked. But deep down, I knew there were still 2 major boss fights left. 2 more mountains. One involving a man I trusted, the other, something darker. With Dagan gone and the compass delivered to Cordova, it feels like Cal can finally have some peace. But then Bo pulls a classic, I'm on your side, psych, heel turn. Took the compass and ran like he just remembered his Netflix subscription was expiring. And before we could even process the betrayal, Cal gets clapped, and next minute, we're playing as Seer, which is like subbing out a stressed Jedi for your cool aunt who also happens to be a walking war crime. Seer's segment was refreshingly straightforward. No upgrades, no gimmicks, just raw lightsaber parenting. The hideout is swarming with Empire goons, and Seer's out here handing out trauma like Halloween candy.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
Then the air shifts, cold, heavy. That boss fight tension hits your chest like a stim overdose. And that's when Vader shows up. No music, no speech, just breathing and intent to murder. Now on the surface, Vader's slow, heavy, almost theatrical. He swings like he's choreographing a stage play. You're thinking, oh, this is fine. I'll just parry and punish. And for like the first 30 seconds, that works. Man practically lets you hit him. But then you go for that one extra swing and boom, he flips a switch, cancels your life insurance, and you're waking up the nearest meditation point.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
His attack timing is pure psychological warfare. He'll pretend he's done attacking just to bait you into an attack, only to unload a full combo mid-animation. And there's nothing you can do but accept your fate. Straight up gaslighting mid-battle. I respect it. And then he starts tossing fireballs, actual fire from the Force, and if one of those connects, instant death. No delay, no warning, just boom, you were alive, now you're Ash. And you can feel it ramping. The longer the fight goes on, the more aggressive he gets. He starts reading your mind. Dodge too early, you get clipped. Too late, he chains it into a stab that hits harder than your parents' divorce. But I stayed aggressive. You give Vader space, he makes you regret it. So I played close, dodged high, and only struck up to certain combos I'd seen enough times to know when he was actually done swinging. And it worked. He fell, kinda. Except Seer didn't make it. That hurt. That actually hurt. And while I'm standing there mourning Space Mum, Bode's off playing hide and seek with Destiny. So after Vader slices Seer and my emotional stability in half, we head to the Frozen Empire base. You know, that lovely scenic route where betrayal means hypothermia. It's a chill journey. Peaceful even. Almost like the game's trying to lull you into a false sense of security. Until we meet Bode again, face to face. Man's out here giving anime villain speeches, talking like he didn't just shatter my trust and steal my compass. And then, he runs, like a coward. Full sprint. Doesn't even give me a quick time event, just dips. And here's where the run technically dies, because the game forces you to use the Force and dip into the dark side just to continue. So yeah, we use the Force. Sue me. It was that or stare at a wall forever. But if the game forces it, we're letting it slide. Doesn't count. If anyone argues otherwise, I'll see you in the comment section where logic goes to die. Do it. Anyway, onward we go, into the gauntlet. And not just any gauntlet. I know, this one starts hard, like 0 to panic attack. No warm-up stormtroopers, just pain, immediate, escalating, soul-crushing pain. You fight waves of enemies, each one is worse than the last. You get stormtroopers that can actually aim, purge troopers firing unblockable shots, and security droids looking to shove a stick up your ass. Eventually, I'm limping into the final phase with like half a stim and a prayer to Yoda. And then it happens. DT sentry droids, plural, like a lot. Not 1, not 2. I swear I counted at least 10. It feels like at this point, they're cloning themselves out of spite. Each time I died, back to the start. Reset, rinse, repeat. Slowly descending into madness. Sometimes I die to the first wave. Sometimes I get all the way to the DT boys and they surround me like I just insulted their toaster mum. I wanted to quit. I almost did. I was ready to uninstall the game and go live in the mountains. And had it not been for Merrin, a queen of teleportation and emotional support, I probably would have. She holds like 3 of them back while I figure out how to breathe again. Now what makes this section so difficult is obviously the game wants you to use the dark side ability here. Tap into your pain. Go full space crazy. Kratos, but not me. No, I'm built different. I'm built stupid. Plus, I'm not allowed. So I start running laps. No, seriously, literal laps around the hangar, sprinting in circles, trying to bait the rocket droids into friendly fire. Marin's tying up the muscle, while I'm out here doing cardio like I'm training for a Force-free marathon.
I just felt like running.
Every now and then, I pop out of my little loop and land a hit, and duck back into the chaos, over and over. I'm pretty sure I ran more in that hangar than I have in my entire real life. And slowly, painfully, they fell. One by one, limbs and rockets flying, hope barely alive, and then silence. They were gone. All of them. My health bar was looking like a car low on gas, and I was too tired to even cheer. Just sat there, staring, processing the trauma. And with that, the finish line was in sight. One final boss, one last betrayal to settle. The coward was waiting, and this time, I wasn't running. And you'd think after the Hunger Games from hell, the game would cut me some slack, give me a breather, maybe a moment to hydrate. But no. Before we can even think about Tanalorr and Bode, the game drops one more gauntlet, because of course it does. This game isn't about hope, it's about pain. And apparently, mine is hilarious. Now, it's not as bad as the last one, but it still took me an hour and a half to crawl through it like a broken Roomba. And here's the kicker. Was it rocket droids? DT units? Big monsters? Nah. The thing giving me the most grief? Probe droids. Yeah, the floaty beep beep explodey boys. Normally with the Force, you just yeet them into the walls and call it a day. But me, no Force. Which means they turn into flying nightmares with 100% sniper accuracy. I swear they have aimbot. Like, where was this energy when the Empire was losing every major battle? These things never miss. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to dodge roll and pray. And I'm not proud of this, but I hit. I cowered, found this little tucked away room thing, and just camped in there like a rat with a grudge. I'd bait the probe droids in, reflect their shots back, and slowly thin the herd, all while the ground units couldn't reach me. But it worked. It wasn't glorious, it wasn't honorable, but I took down the droids one at a time like the world's saddest hitmen, and I survived. And in this challenge, that's the only stat that matters. With that mess behind us, there was nothing left to do but head to Tanalorr and confront Bode. One final boss fight, one final betrayal to avenge, and I was not ready.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
See, I remembered Bode being annoying on easy mode, so I figured on Grandmaster he'd be hell. And wow, did he deliver. Man came out swinging like his life was on 2x speed. His moveset is aggressive, non-stop pressure. Miss a parry, you're dead. With a dodge. Congratulations, your kidneys belong to Bode now. He has these little quick draw pistol shots that require literal superhuman reflexes to counter. Like, unless you're part cyborg, those are hitting, and they hurt. Every time I got close to beating him, I'd choke. Panic roll, miss a stim window, overcommit, dead. Again and again, and every death felt more personal than the last. But eventually, I stopped fighting like a hyper toddler and started learning. There were a couple of moves, just a few, where he'd overcommit, leave himself open, and that was my window. I started waiting, baiting, dodging everything else, letting him dance his little deadly dance, and only striking when I knew I could punish. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't fast, but it worked. I slowly whittled him down, health bar dropping, my hands sweating, my brain fully fried, and then he fell. No Force, Grandmaster difficulty, every major boss down, and the challenge complete. I don't even remember what happened after. I think I blacked out. All I know is the nightmare was over and I was finally free. And that's it. Challenge complete. Jedi Survivor, Grandmaster difficulty, no Force powers. I took a game built around space magic and played it like it was a Souls-like with extra depression. This wasn't fun, this wasn't rewarding, this was just pain. Constant, relentless. I almost gave up more times than I can count. Ravis broke me. The hangar humiliated me. Those probe droids haunt my dreams. There were moments I genuinely questioned whether I'd ever finish this, whether I'd ever see daylight again, whether I'd still be married when this was over. Was it worth it? Honestly, no. No, it wasn't. I don't want to touch this game again. I don't want to even think about Grandmaster difficulty. I've had more fun at the dentist. But if you want to see me actually enjoy this game and not scream for 20 hours straight, check out my platinum video for Jedi Survivor. It's on the screen right now. That was a good time. That was a beautiful journey. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, assuming I ever emotionally recover. Ciao, Bella.